Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to show you a $10,000 bag, a $1 bag, and much more. I'm also going to show you a $15,000 bag at the end of this video. You can probably tell it's this right here, but we'll get to this right after. I feel a little silly for mentioning this at all, but this is a $0 or $1 bag I got from shopping at Free People a million years ago. It has a handle and it has one compartment. It's extremely light. It is slightly transparent. It's also very compact, travels easily, and weirdly enough, I would be so sad if I lost this bag. I've taken it out, I've kept it in my closet, it's been in multiple states, and it's a huge lesson to me that no matter what price something is, it could be interesting or valuable. To me, a $1 bag still counts as a bag because it could be just as important to my life or useful to my life as something more expensive. This is a $500 bag. It's a proenza schouler, PS11, classic size, smooth black leather. It's a shoulder carry or crossbody bag. Proenza schouler is definitely a brand I wish more people talked about. I feel like their bags and their clothes are extremely interesting. And aspirationally, I hope I have more items from them in the future, but I'm not exactly sure what right now. This bag is much cooler than I am, 90 times cooler. It's a bit heavy though. And I just noticed that I can't show you weight on camera, of course, but it's quite heavy. And the version I got is a bit used. You can see that there's dents, there's scratches inside. The strap is frayed, but it's a very unique bag. Most of the hardware is silver. It's quite large. Maybe it's not really large. It has a zipper on the back. I wish I had gotten it in slightly better condition, but at the time I was a little too scared to spend maybe twice as much on the same thing just because it was already discontinued and I couldn't see it in person. However, now that I've had it for so long, I've gotten used to all of its imperfections and I really appreciate it. So I guess you can get a lot for $500. This will pretty much last forever. Although it's frayed, it's really not ever going to fall apart. The only other thing I want to say about this proenza schouler bag is this is definitely a bag that I had heard almost nothing about. One of my favorite YouTubers, she has a bag like this, and I think that's the only person who's ever told me about this bag. Very, very grateful for this bag. So next up, this is a $1,000 bag. It's a Celine Trio in the small size with gold hardware. You can get it for about $900 or $1,000 on Fashion File if you want one. They're not made anymore. This is from the Phoebe Philo era. I'll always remember the day I got this bag. I failed my promotion. I felt sad, depressed, felt like a failure, had worked extremely hard that year, and I signed off early, went to Soho, picked up this bag. The fact that I could just stroll into Celine and buy this bag showed me how much I had worked hard the last few years, that even though I wasn't getting the promotion I wanted that year, I'd come really far, I'd become a better leader, and become a better person. When I left the store, I was obviously excited about it and really excited to have this bag, but by the time I was walking home, I had pretty much forgotten about the bag just because it's still just an item, and I've thought about how much I have to be grateful for, the fact that I was walking around New York, the fact that I had a job, and the fact that I had a billion other things to be grateful for that day. After that, I promised myself I would never give up. I would keep trying, I would get that promotion, but all of that didn't even really matter because I knew that I was improving myself. Ironically, even though I got this bag on a difficult day, it became my most used bag. The style is very me. I feel like myself in a bag, and that's pretty much all you really want out of a handbag that costs a ridiculous amount of money. And it is just a bag, but it holds a lot of memories, and it reminds me of that day, the cold day in January when I was miserable, but I got through it. And whenever I reach for this bag, a small part of me still remembers that day and thinks about how much I've grown since then too. So this is my very, very much loved Celine Trio bag. So this, you could say, is my controversial bag. A lot of people who first get into luxury handbags start with the Neverfull or some other item with canvas from Louis Vuitton. Maybe the Speedy, maybe the Alma BB. This is a Neverfull GM with a beige interior. And I say controversial because I feel like people who get really interested in handbags and develop a long-term collection sometimes may look down upon collecting bags from this brand. I think it might be because it's so common and mass-produced and faked a lot. And so it's common for people to just say that this is a basic bag. And that's why it took me 7 years to get this bag, which I really regret. I wish I had gotten it sooner. I saw it for the first time around 2013 in Boston, just out and about. Someone was wearing it. It was slouchy, used. The leather had really patinaed and darkened. And at the time, it was too expensive for me because I was just an intern. But after I got to a place where I was able to afford this bag, I still didn't get it because I was scared to come off a certain way. Fast forward to a couple years ago, I realized none of that actually matters. You should just get what you really love and use it, and who cares what people think? Then I finally clicked checkout on the website, got this for myself for Christmas, and I could not have been more happy when it arrived. Instead of the typical bag or item that you buy where you feel joy, I had this deeper sense of joy because it wasn't really about the bag. It was the fact that I had finally gotten myself something that is something I just really loved for a really long time. And I feel like that's really important to do. Besides that, this bag is actually, in my opinion, more beautiful in person. On cameras, in photos, in YouTube videos, this bag looks a little bit cool-toned and grayed out. And in real life, it's more of a beige and more warm and comforting, you could say, especially when the straps start to become a honey brown color. And the only other thing is, I know it comes with a pink interior and a beige interior. If pink isn't your favorite color and you're waffling between the two, I would actually side with getting the beige interior just because the beige marries better with the rest of the bag and forms a more cohesive picture. But of course, if you like pink, then that pink lining is incredible. I also spent a lot of time ruminating about whether to get the or the GM. At the end of the day, I wanted this big slouchy look, and the doesn't quite get to that slouch. The other thing is when you cinch in this GM bag, it forms more of a triangular shape than a trapezoidal shape. So aesthetically, I found the GM to be more suited to my personal style, and also the fact that it holds way more is just a plus. The other interesting thing is the handles really are strong. Although they dig in because it's a very small surface area for a small part of your arm or shoulder, the handles really hold up. That makes it a reasonable travel bag because I can just put more and more items in here and not worry about damaging the bag. So that's my never full, but really I promise you it looks better in real life, so showing it on camera might not be the best approach here. Alright, next is our $10,000 bag. This is the Chanel medium classic quilted flap, gold toned hardware. It's not made of gold, but it's gold toned. The moment I saw it, I knew I couldn't afford it. Before I go on about how great this bag is, does no one else think that it looks like kind of like a trash bag with quilts because of the shiny black leather? Or is it just me? It's also really heavy. I mean, people talk about the jumbo, the next size up being really heavy, but I think this is actually already really heavy for the size, and it's because there's so much leather in here that it really weighs down. The body of the bag really weighs down. Alright, so a couple years ago, I went to Chanel, and I was very, very lucky to be in a place where I could finally get a bag from the store. It was a navy caviar flap, and I thought it was gorgeous. It had champagne gold hardware. When I took it home, I was overjoyed. I unboxed it immediately after I got home, and I couldn't stop looking at it. Weirdly enough, and I guess I needed to have the experience to know, after a few months I realized that I really wanted the bag to be black, and I really wanted it to be lambskin, and I really wanted the hardware to be more yellow colored. So eventually I sold that bag and I traded it in for this one, and I really learned my lesson. I guess a bag is totally different if you use a different fabric and a different hardware color. Of course, that sounds obvious now saying it to you guys, but it's not something that I fully understood until I had tried the bag. Sadly, I don't wear this that much. I feel like it doesn't go with a lot of my outfits, and I gravitate a little more to the Celine bag, as you could tell. There is not a more beautiful bag in my collection, and I look at this every day. I wear it when I can, and I am beyond lucky to have this. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. It looks a little bit weird in the summer when it's really sunny just because it seems a little too heavy, but besides that, I think it's great. It really, really does well in the winter and the fall when I'm wearing something a little thicker or have a blazer on, or maybe I have work clothes on. I don't recommend getting it ever from the store at this point. I think you could just get a used one for much cheaper and then get to choose the exact leather and color that you want without having to choose from a more limited supply in the store. Oh, and I guess we could make a video about the prices. Oh my god. Or maybe we'll do a shopping video and we'll go through the Chanel website. I think that would be really fun for a next shopping video. But let me know what you want to see. All right, so as you've probably seen from right next to me this entire video, this is our $15,000 handbag. It is complete insanity. Don't get this ever unless you really, really love handbags. I think the watch equivalent is just getting a Patek Philippe vintage Calatrava. This is the most similar to doing that. When the bag is open, I love how open it is and easy to get my things and see where they are. It's not the only bag that can do that though, so I have to say I must obviously like it for its style. I don't know what the specs are perfectly because I'm not the original owner, but I believe this is a 1998 Courchevel leather Birkin 30, but I don't know the color name. It's lighter than what they call the gold color, which is a brown. This is definitely a vintage looking light brown or camel color, and it has gold hardware. The main thing I want to say about this bag is sadly, if you wear this bag out, people will treat you differently, especially if you're shopping. They will get you an appointment faster. They'll follow you around until you have a question or they have some way of selling you something. They'll apologize for the weather. And I think that's okay, but it's a little bit illogical to me, don't you think? Because then if you bought this bag, that means that you spent the money and you don't have the money. So then you have a lot lower balance in your bank account. So to me, the people who are really wealthy don't actually have any handbags, but maybe that's just not how the world works. But every now and then when someone's asking me about this bag when I'm out, they're really serious and they're not just treating me differently, they're actually looking at the bag and appreciating it for what it is. And then I get to tell them the fun fact that this bag is 26 years old or something, and it still looks incredible. It pretty much looks nearly new. The sides, the corners are worn if you examine it really closely, and there are a couple dents in it from when I unfortunately hit it at a door or the edge of a door. But the Courchevel leather is really incredible, and I'm sad that they don't make that anymore. I'm sad that I guess you'd have to go with Epsom instead, but Epsom is less shiny. Epsom to me is a little more paper-like, and it's not my personal favorite. I actually like Togo a lot more than Epsom. I'm beyond over the moon that I have this bag, and I can do a much more in-depth Birkin video for you guys and talk about what I had before, what didn't work, and maybe that'll help someone out there. I guess I should ask myself what would happen if the value of this bag dropped to 0 tomorrow. Thankfully, I like it for its style and I like it for what it is, so I guess it would be a silly thing financially if it were a $0 bag tomorrow, but I would still use it and I would still keep it on a pedestal and be really happy that I have it. Yeah, so in conclusion, these bags definitely don't create happiness. Happiness comes from experiences and being with my friends and family and growing and being healthy. I think these bags are really just there for fun. They bring me joy in the sense that if I look at them, I remember this is something I really love. And this is something that's really fun for me. Whether I'm wearing that $500 bag or this $15,000 bag, I don't really feel I'm a different person. I think I'm just dressing up in a different way. I think the bag that brings me the most joy is the Celine $1,000 bag. And I really don't think about the price point when I'm wearing it. I think about how this is me and this is my favorite thing that's an inanimate object that will probably wear away and decay one day. Hopefully I outlive it, and I'll be grateful for every time I get to use it, and it's just really fun. Also, thank you for watching. This is my favorite hobby in the world, and it took me... How old is this YouTube channel? Like 9 years old? So it took me 9 years to finally tell you guys that I love handbags, and it's so much more fun talking about this than talking about anything else I've talked about in my channel. So I'm really grateful that you watched this to the end. You'll probably get more fashion or handbag videos from me in the future, maybe some watch videos, but we'll see, and I'll keep trying my best and making the best videos I can for you guys. Have an amazing day, have an amazing weekend. I don't know which day I'm uploading this, so maybe have an amazing week. Wherever you are, just know that I'll always be your friend. Bye guys.